So, Austin, watching the bike riders, something that I didn't realize was such an integral part of the bike rider clubs is the nickname. We have Cockroach, Corky, Wahoo, Zipco. Now, you and I share a last name, which is Butler.
Really?
So,
No
yeah.
way. That's awesome.
So I got Butsy, Butts, Butthead as a as a child. And
kids
did
are
you,
so nice, aren't they?
Yeah, I know, right? But did you ever experience, some good old fashioned nicknames with the surname Butler?
Yeah. It wasn't until 300 came out and Gerard Butler. Suddenly, then Butler was cool.
He's done so
Butler
much for the Butler
community.
community.
Yeah,
He really
exactly.
has.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Were there any nicknames on set that sort of stuck for bike riders?
I've never really had a nickname like as far as like Austin goes.
What would be your ideal nickname?
Like Baz calls me Oz. You know?
Ooh.
Or like
Okay.
Oz.
It's very chic.
It is very chic.
Do the bikes get a name? Is it kind of like the same rules as boats?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like Jeff Milburn, who owns almost all the motorcycles you see in the film. The bike I ride, we just went for a ride the other day, and he calls it the Benny bike now. And then there's another one called the Austin because it's one that I bought that he's been fixing up. So I don't know. It kind of ends up just being, yeah. Or he has one called the Bridge bike because he made it after the one of the iconic shot going over the bridge, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Obviously, the Bike Riders is based off, the photos and the book. Did you get to see the photos before filming this? If so, were there any photos that really stood out? Maybe like the photo on the bridge?
I knew about the book, but I never looked through it. But I had friends who owned some of Danny's prints. And so, like the bridge shot, I have a friend who has that, and there's another one of them from behind, and so I'd seen these images, and I didn't realize they were all Danny Lyon. And then when I read the script, I bought the book immediately, and then looking through that and reading the interviews, and that's the cool thing about that bit of photojournalism that Danny did, which is really one of the great American photojournalistic books, is that he immersed himself in that world. So it's biased through his immersion. And so you see all the romanticism and the beauty of the images, and then the raw humanity of these interviews, and that combination really gives you a full-fledged idea of what it felt like to be there.
You sort of grew up around bikes with your dad and your grandfather as well, being bike riders. Do you have any stories about, riding when you were young? Because I know my brother would ride bikes. One day he picked me up after school, told me to jump on the back of a bike and ran it straight into a fence. So I'm sort of, wondering, are there any stories like that growing up?
So the very first time I was on a motorcycle was my dad just saying, you want to drive to Arizona on a bike. And so we would ride for 6 hours on a bike, and I'd be on the back. And I just loved that experience, like when I was very young. And then my sister, when she got a motorcycle license, and her first time out, she went for a ride with my dad, and she hit a median. She didn't make a turn tight enough, hit a median, flipped into oncoming traffic. Ooh. And thankfully she didn't get hit by a car. So she dislocated her shoulder, but she was okay otherwise. And my mom said, you're not allowed to ride motorcycles. So to me, I'm 5 years younger than my sister. So my mom said, you're not allowed to ride motorcycles. And then when I was about 15, my dad sort of sneakily took me out to a parking lot and said, "You want to learn how to ride?" And so then that's when I started learning how to ride. And so I have happy memories with him of that. But I dropped his bike so many times because he'd say, make a tight turn, and
they're really heavy.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you just you got to roll a bike.
Yeah.
The weight can get the best of you.
It's so true.
So we're from Triple J, which is an Australian radio station, big focus
I know
on music.
Triple J. Yeah.
If you were going for a long ride, maybe through those cornfields on the bike, what would be the music on the playlist to kind of match the scenery, either from that era or from maybe more contemporary?
First I think of is like Muddy Waters, maybe, something about that, or like, there's a song called "Evil Is Going On." That Tom Hardy actually showed me. That's not Muddy Waters. I'm trying to remember right now who sings it, but it's a great song. And Tom and I were It was late one night, and he played that song for me, and that became like my anthem during that time. Yeah, it's a great song.
We'll add it to the playlist.
We will.
Yeah.
Austin Butler, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Thank you so much. Nice to see you.